Hello everybody, welcome back to Operation Hats. It is now July 1942 and it is Japan's turn. So as you can see, we've got another busy turn coming up. But first a little bit of housekeeping. The Soviets just attacked Leningrad to take it back from the Germans. There were some mistakes in the German turn that we fixed in the Soviet turn. And now there's some mistakes in the Soviet turn, mainly because the militia attacked from Viipuri into Leningrad, which isn't allowed because the militia was in home country. And then some confusion about a river border. So I'm still not quite sure exactly what's going on, so I'm gonna let Davik or Jinx get to it on one of their turns, because yeah, I don't want to mess things up again. We're gonna go to hopefully have a clean turn this time. But to note, since the militia couldn't move out of Viipuri and he placed one there, the thing I do know I can fix is I can stick a militia down here in Azerbaijan instead. But we'll probably have less Soviet infantry up there than we think. That is the keyboard shortcut for controls. Good to know that. Alright. Moving on, we've got, probably purchases first. Before I go ahead and tell you all the attacks we're making, we've got purchases. So, the Americans are preparing for war in Pearl Harbor, and we need to respond accordingly, with 3 destroyers and finishing 1 heavy cruiser from stage 2 to 3. Then we are building 1 fighter, 2 marines for 8, 2 infantry, 1 militia upgrade, 4 militia. Then we are also lend-leasing 1 infantry to the Italians and 1 AA to the Germans. That comes out to 63. You'll note that I have an infantry to replicate the Italian infantry, but not one for the German AA. That's because this calculator doesn't subtract the 1 I get off for improved construction and all these, which adds up to 4, which equals the AA. And then this is an Italian fortification from the Germans that they get to place on their turn. So, moving on, we go to tech rolls. I don't think I have any that I could complete this turn, but I should check. Since I don't have any final stages, I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing these in here because it's nice to roll dice. It also makes me less likely to forget them. So we're rolling for long-range aircraft and improved factories again. Alright, drop that in there. Okay, so that gives us an 8 on long-range aircraft and a miss on improved factories. So that's 1 success. Still no movement forward on improved factories, which stinks. And the US is already catching up to us on large ship construction, so we'll see how this goes. Now, finally moving on to attacks. Let's not make you all dizzy. The biggest attack this turn is going to be Singapore. The British have done an admirable job of reinforcing that with a lot of units, but we've done the math, and we're going to do the attack. This should be a fairly simple one. I forgot to ask Davik if he wanted to watch this, so if he takes great offense to that, we'll see if we need to re-roll it, but it should be okay. So we're going to go ahead and move these 4 infantry from Siam into Singapore. I'm going to pull them off to the side because we're going to have to pull this all down to the battle board in a second. Come on, get them all. And then we'll have this transport plane from Burma move to Malaya. So that's quickly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which leaves 2 left to get back to Sumatra with that airborne. Then we'll have the fighters from Sumatra 1, 2, and from Singapore 1 move to Malaya. We will have the 2 fighter tactical bombers off this carrier south of Java go 1, 2, 3 into Malaya. We'll have the 18th Army in Java move 1, 2 into Malaya, and then it's going to be the main force we're going to use for all this. That is 4 Marines and 2 infantry. Those 4 Marines will be picked up, 3 of them by the destroyers, 1 by a transport, which will also grab an entry, and that last space in the transport will be filled by an airborne coming here. The 2nd Fleet is also going to go do bombardment on Malaya. The infantry Marine from Queensland is going to be picked up by this destroyer, and they are going to move 1, 2, 3 to join the 2nd Fleet and drop off this Marine here for a total of, I believe that's 5 Marines. Alright. This transport in New Britain is going to go 1. pick up these 2 units from New Guinea, and then go 2, 3, and also land in Singapore. Alright, now I'm going to start erasing lines for the ones we've got. So, picked up these. Picked up these. This carrier doesn't have to move because I still have a landing spot in Siam, so I can wait and see what happens first. Come on, move. I prefer when things erase cleanly. Sometimes that only seems to happen when I'm prepping for this and not recording. Come on. Come on. Alright. Oh well, we'll get that later. So, other attacks on Malaya. This fighter from Hong Kong is going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to drop him in the growing pile. Sort this all once we get to the battle board. And then finally from up here, we're going to grab a air transport and a medium bomber, along with the requisite airborne, which are all going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The medium bomber will have 1 left, and the air transport will have 2. We were planning to use that air transport up here, but the Soviets have put a very good kibosh on things, as have the CCP issues. So that's going to be addressed later. We didn't have quite enough force protection, see this turn. I am shocked by how good dice the CCP got. That should have been an easy victory on my part, but oh well. Beat one Chinese faction. Can't always beat both. So, other attacks, this coastal submarine and this seaplane are going to go raid in whatever the season is. This coastal submarine is also going to raid. I was planning to do that as non-combat, but I think I want 2 just in case ASW gets grumpy, because I don't believe the Germans raided on their turn. So we need to block that British income. That's non-combat, combat. Alright, over here. This transport is not invading Singapore. Rather, it is dropping an infantry off in Cochin, China. We will take 1 infantry from the army in Kwangtung and move it into Anam Tonkin. So those 2 will just fall to the Japanese immediately. Moving back up here, we're going to take 1 infantry from Eastern Manchuria to Northern Manchuria, 1 infantry from Primorsky Krai to Amur, and that will be it. That will be it. Those are all non-combat moves. This submarine is out of range, unfortunately. Okay. I think that is everything. So, we're going to start off with the easy ones. Japan walks on to French Indochina and Tonkin, taking most of the remaining free French income, and knocking over an AA gun in the process. That should be the last source of unleashed China. Thank you, France, for declaring war on Japan. That was highly appreciated. So that is 2 for the Japanese, and -2 for the French. Usually for France, goes down to 2. And we'll check with the automatic calculator after this is all over. Alright, moving up here, the Soviets have very kindly ceded Northern Manchuria back to us, and we are taking Primorsky Krai. So that is up 2 for us, down 2 for them. Sorry about the cough. I just got back from spring break in Colorado, and the allergies have started hitting. And because of that, I'm trying to get this done quick before I need to go to a doctor's appointment and then hang out with some friends at the museum. So, Let's stop wavering. That should be all the combats there. So now for the easy ones. So we're going to grab these 2 dice. These 2 dice. We're going to bring them down here. And 1 die from over here. And so we're going to roll. The red is Japan. The blue is going to be FEC. And this will be the defense roll. We should have, remember this submarine is going to move non-combat. We have a +1. They have a +3 and a 2 defense. So this is not going to go too well for any of us. Well, hey. Oh, that's close, but no dice. They beat us at a 7 to a 6. No, an 8 to a 6. Alright, moving on to over here. We have this seaplane on map, who I believe gets a +1, which will be same roll. Actually, I don't think they get to shoot at seaplanes. I don't. Give me a second here. I need to pull up the rule book, because I'm pretty sure the shots are only at submarines for advanced ASW. Okay, so you probably can't see it because it's on a different tab, but under Anti-Submarine Warfare Tech, when submarines raid a combat line of a nation with ASW technology, the defender gets the defensive roll against its raiding submarine. That does not apply to the seaplane, so this dice doesn't actually do anything, thankfully. Either way, we still fail miserably with the actual convoy roll raiding bit of it. And now we move on to the coastal sub. Ooh, okay. They have a +2 for radar, +3 for ASW, which gives them a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a 6 +1 for main coastal sub, which gives us a 7, which means we actually do 2 damage. And we are going to apply that to Anzac. Yeah, we'll apply that to the Anzac line. We need to actually go find the damage marker. So Anzac loses 2 IPP. So they have 0 IPP to spend this next turn. And then this seaplane is not going to stay on map here, it's just going to go back into Sumatra. So, come on, erase. Alright, and then for Davik's sake, I'm going to slap a rating marker on this guy. Do note, for any of you watching at home, that this is actually not required or anywhere mentioned in the rules. A lot of people, when playing, often stick a radar marker under submarines that have convoy raided, but it only applies to battlecruisers. There is nothing in the rules that designates submarines for raiding differently. They act the same as any normal submarine. It's just for the convenience of tracking the UK bonus where no submarines have raided on their lines, which is so this has no impact other than a reminder. There's no special rating status for submarines, which is something I've seen people try to poke at a few times. There you go. Alright, so I believe that's all the combats except for the big one. So let's go ahead and drag all of the stuff in Malaya down here. So this is all Malaya. Alright, that's all Malayan. That needs to go back up here. And then down here we have shore bombardment, which unfortunately will be reduced by the because of the fort from these ships. Now, move back up, and we will grab this task marker, which is the Malaya one, and bring it down here to the defense. Alright, let's set this up. So this is a Gurkha. It is a mountain infantry, so it will be defending out of 5 due to the mountains. There is 2 colonial infantry that will defend at 4. These are pretty much all infantry, except I believe there's 2 militia hiding in here, which will defend at a 2. However, there's a fort, so all these units will get bumped up to Gurkha for the first round, and there will be an additional 2 fortification dice right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 for the colonials, and then 5 infantry. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Oh, dang it. So that should be. That's 7, 8 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, only 7. 2 for the fort, and 1 Gurkha up here. On the Japanese side, we will have 3 heavy cruisers that would normally be at 1, but will go down. Bombard 2 will go down to 1. We have, 4 heavy cruisers at 1. We have a battle cruiser at 2. 2 battleships at 3. Then we have the air transport. That's empty. Air transport and a airborne, which will be at 2. And then we have the other airborne, which will also be at 2, because they'll be at 3, but then they'll drop 1 for the mountain. It's medium bomber. Where's the air transport? There's no A here, so it doesn't really matter if I bring these air transports in the battle, but I like to keep them on to mark that they're there. It's easy to tell where the airborne are. Alright. Other news, we have 3 infantry. Alright. We have 1 airborne. Alright, these all come down at 1. So 1 airborne is going by ship, so it doesn't get the bonus. We have these marines, which are, again, not getting a bonus. Mountain infantry is at 2. Probably should have done all this before the battle, but I like to have the units on the board, not just the dice, because it makes it easier to remember what's going on. So, 7 infantry, 4 marines, and 1 airborne. 1 mountain, 2 airborne. Oh, another marine. 5 marines. That's better. The big thing that's attacking Singapore with all this force in it is they have a absolutely massive initial round of hits with double casualties and stuff for all the amphibious stuff. So it's going to be real bloody, and I need a lot of marines. We got 3 fighters, 2 tacticals, and a medium bomber attacking. They suffer no terrain penalties. And then I should note as well that 4 of these infantry are not amphibiously assaulting, and these 4 in the airborne are, so they need to be taken first as casualties. Well, I can take these airborne first, which is what I'm going to do to save these marines from dying. But that should be everything. Now, if we just pull the dice, tacticals are yellow. There's a medium bomber that doesn't have target select. 1, 2, 3 for these guys. It's going to get put back there for the moment. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 4. Alright, we're going to start with just rolling the short bombardment, because that's the biggest thing here. It's first strike, and we'll see how many units we can eliminate. Alright, 1 hit from the battleships, none from here, and none from here. Well, that's about what we expect here. 1 hit, which, this is a pretty straightforward battle. Pretty sure Davik will just lose the militia. He has 2 fortifications at 5 first strike. Oh, Okay, sorry. One thing I forgot before the shore bombardment rolls is he has, look over here, 2 coastal guns. That means he gets 6 shots at bombarding or transporting units, which means I might actually lose some ships here. These are at 3, so we're going to go ahead and roll them and see how that would affect the bombardment rolls. Alright, looking at this, he got 2 hits. That's a little above average, but doable. What will happen then is we'll damage both these battleships. So they would bombard at a 2, but that was a 2 anyway. So we are good. That actually weren't as expected. Alright, the coastal bombardment is done. Now for the actual first strike from the fortification. That hurts. That's going to be 2 Marines. Ouch. Yeah, ouch. Hopefully that luck doesn't keep going here. These infantry are going to be fun to deal with. Now, moving back to here, we have 1, 2, 3 Marines remaining, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other units. Oh, darn it. Alright. So this is... This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at 1. They have 1, 2, 3 at 2. And then the big stuff up here. Alright, let's roll the infantry first. Okay, so nothing from the 2s. And 1 hit from the 1s. Okay. I'm pretty sure Davik will lose this militia. But it still gets its roll. That militia's gone. Now moving on to the actual stuff behind the attack. Remember, the red is the medium bomber and the gold is the tacticals. Oof. Oof. Okay, this is going to be a painful battle. 2 hits. I was really hoping to get into his infantry more this turn. We'll take the colonials. There's not really a difference. Okay. Okay. Here comes the painful part. He has all these to roll. Okay. No hit from the militia. Over here, we have 1, 2, 3 hits, because they're at 6. 4 hits. That could have been worse. We're going to take the 2 airborne. 1, 2, 3, 4. We survived with 1 Marine. That was dangerously close. Alright, he lost 2 colonials and a militia. So he loses 1, 2 dice and is left with 5 infantry. These all now move down to the normal 4 and 5. That should be 7, but it doesn't really matter. Values. Now that fort is bypassed. And these guys all just stay the same because there's no difference. But I do need to recount. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lose these 2. And I lose 2 of these. And then these are all the same. Okay, let's roll round 2. No hit. Come on, infantry. You can do better than this. Nothing at all. Alright, now onto the planes. Wow. One hit. Japan is not doing well. This should have been a pretty easy victory, but that's not the case. Alright, moving back down to these 4s and 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep. No hits, no hits. 3 hits. Alright. Well, I need to lose these amphibiously assaulting units first. So it's going to be these 3 infantry. Just loses me another 3. This is heavier casualties than I would have liked. By my estimations, I should have only taken about 6 or 7 casualties this whole battle. And this is going to easily go more than that. So, we go ahead and roll for the next round, round 3. Finally, somebody steps up. 2 hits. Now for the planes. Fighters still remain horrible, and we get 3 hits with these guys. That's 5 hits total. That should be, yep, that's the rest of the British units. Like I was killed last round. So, they now have 5 units back. Let's see what the final tally is. 1 hit. I can work with that. That will be this final airborne. That was amphibiously assaulting. And we are left with 4 infantry, a marine, and a mountain brigade, and all our planes. So, let's clean this up. Those are all dead. That guy's dead. Those guys are dead. Alright. These are all dead. The 18th Army is pitifully small now. We probably lost just as many units as the British did there, which is kind of the ideal of any successful defending force, but it does hurt as the attacker. Those guys are not on the carrier. Let's get them off. Alright, and then these ships all come back to... Nope, I need 2 damage markers. Couple dice. Yeah. Damage markers for the battleships. Good news is, I now have a dockyard to repair them at. Squeeze them in right there. These 2 battleships are damaged. Alright, moving on to non-combat. This transport plane is going to go land in Sumatra. This next transport plane is going to land... Come on. Come on. In Siam. Actually, let me quickly check something. I believe we've completed a victory objective. That's the US. Spin this around. I think this is Japan's. Yep, that's Germany. That's Italy. Japan. Alright. Asia for Asians. Possess Burma. Yes. Siam. Yes. Cochin China. Anatolian and British Malaya. Yes. So I believe we get the bonus immediately. So 1 minor factory and 1 airbase. Which we are going to go ahead and place the airbase in Siam. Yes. Alright. Copy this guy. And then unlock it, because for some reason when you have a locked And it just likes to hover here. Come on. Alright, move. So I can, there we go. Toggles lock. And so we're going to have an airbase in Siam. And that should give us the best coverage here. And then we're going to remove this fortification. And those 2 coastal guns. Because now, Malaya is no longer British. Which I do think makes this territory name really should just been Malaya. It makes it very funny to have Japanese British Malaya. So that transport's going to land there. The rest of these planes, the medium bomber had one left. It's also going to land in Siam. Oh, I have a factory place. Here's the question. Do I put it in Siam again? Or do I put it in Anam Tonkin? It's nice to have them both in the same spot, so if the British ever get pushy, I only need to defend 1 point instead of 2. But Anam Tonkin is much better for China. So I think we're going to go with Anam Tonkin. So I'm not horribly worried about the British getting uppity at the moment. Unlock both those. Great. Unfortunately, I can't use that factory this turn, but I can next turn. Alright, so that's that. We're going to deal with the rest of these planes in a second here. This carrier is going to go 1, 2. Yeah, it's going to go and join up with this second fleet. These transports are going to be with the second fleet, and this whole fleet is staying out of port because it makes it just a little bit easier to deal with. So in that case, we're going to drop 2 tacticals on the carrier right here. We're going to put these 3 fighters. Oh, don't kill the sub. And actually, well, let's see. 1 fighter came from Siam, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go back to Hong Kong, just in case we need to do things in China. Then we have these 2. 1 came from Siam, so 1, 2, 3. It could go back, but I'd like to keep some stuff here because it's nicely in range. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a bit out of range. Yeah, I think they'll stay there. And this guy is going to stay in Sumatra, because Sumatra is the best place to be. There's a seaplane hangar here. But I don't have... I think long-range aircraft that gives seaplanes a map of 3. I don't have that yet. And Borneo is actually very annoying sea zone-wise. I don't be able to cover after there. Alright. So then this submarine is going to go to this sea zone. Sorry, some of these lines. That's done. That's done. That's done. Come on. Come on, line. Alright, that's done. These are done. This is done again. Nope, okay. Alright. I believe that's everything down there. So now, these 3 are moving 1, 2 to Palau. This light cruiser is also going to move 1, 2 to Palau. We're going to reform a second navy up here. The question is whether we're going to stay in port or not, go in port or not. We're going to bring this light carrier up to Blau with the fighter. 1, 2, 3 again. This destroyer and marine are going to get picked up and go 1, 2 to Palau. And then this destroyer is going to pick up this marine out of New South Wales and go 1, 2, 3 to New Britain. Alright. What can the US fleet hit? That's the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3. Okay, what do they have that can move 4? Battleship can, which gives them heavy cruiser and 4 destroyers. That's not a lot. Heavy cruiser and 4 destroyers against 2 light cruisers, 2 torpedo destroyers, fighter, carrier, destroyer. Yeah, I'll take that, because it'll also put them easily within range of the main fleet. So, US, come if you want. This destroyer is going to go into port, it's not going to be bait. Moving on to more naval movements. There's this little mess. This transport's going to come out of Primorsk Crown and go 1. Pick up 2 infantry from Kyushu. 3. And then drop them off in Hope and go into port in Nanking. Yeah. Yep. Right. This marine is going to move to Rihi, leaving Western Manchuria open if they want. This infantry is going to rail all the way to Hope. This infantry is going to move from Suion to Hope. This transport is going to leave Kyushu, pick up the last 2 infantry, and go 1, 2, and it will go into port in Hong Kong. These infantry will get dropped off in Kwangtung. Which hopefully should leave that better defended than it was last turn. Just get out of the way. That leaves this fighter, which is going to go 1, 2, 3 to Korea. Yeah, we're easily in range. And then this transport is going to move to Tokyo and go into port here. Note, my map doesn't like to render these major shipyards for some reason, so hopefully this doesn't cause any problems with save when that's sitting on a major shipyard. Alright. Yeah. Okay. This is going to move down here with the submarine so I can remember it. 5-star general. I know you mentioned last time you thought you had a submarine there. Yeah, I got killed last turn. That's no longer an issue. This British sub is right here. You can go 1, 2. Yeah, it's not attacking that. Okay. These are in port. It's important. That's there. That can't move. That's moved already. Those moved already. Those stay there and are safe from attack. Alright, now I think it's time to place units after nearly 45 minutes of me waffling. So, moving on to the placement, we have this big pile of stuff. We're going to drag down to somewhere more helpful, the middle of the Pacific. Alright, these 3 destroyers and this heavy cruiser are going to be built in off Tokyo. Do you want to build in port or not? That's the question. No. They're going to stay out of port, and this transport is actually going to stay out of port too. We just want to provide some options for the US. These 2 Marines are going to get built in Tokyo. First time I feel like I've used this Tokyo factory all game, along with this fighter. This infantry is going in Rihi. This infantry is going down in Siam. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units in Burma. Word I forgot a non-comment here was to stop marking some ones in China. Yeah, none of these can move. That's the big thing. I rail the unit down there. Alright. This are 4 militia, and that's a militia upgrade. So the 4 militia, we're going to have 1 in Suion, 1 in Hopei, which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to attack again, CCP? Try your luck second time. Got 2 at 2 and 4 at 4. Then we're going to take this militia and stick it in Kwangtung because you need to keep buffing that force. That leaves this one, which is going to go down here in New South Wales, just to keep the Australians from getting any ideas. Yeah. I do think it's funny that I was able to raid 2 IPP off the Australians, and the only 2 IPP is literally their capital. It raises some questions about what exactly those ships are doing out off Malaya. So finally we have a where to go militia upgrade. Which I'm not sure where to put this. I bought it because I figured I would want one when the turn was over, but I don't know where I want it to go. I'm thinking in Burma or Siam, but I like having a militia in Siam. There's no militia down there to upgrade. I could upgrade this one in Szechuan. Now it's just going to kill by CCP. Peking. Eastern Manchuria? So you should line up with the militia upgrades is unless I have a plan, I'm not sure where I want to put them. It's like I could put one in Burma. Yeah, I think we're going to put it in Burma. There we go. That gives us 4 infantry and 2 artillery there. I think we have a full load of transports. The other option, I guess, was I could put it up here, but I've got some time before the Soviets come back, even though they built a factory up here. They've pulled way back from the border, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Fighters on an airbase. Yep. Okay. I'm going to erase these lines and hope I don't miss anything. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. This submarine did not raid, but it does block the Australian bonus income, which is the important part. Actually, maybe it needs to be a surface warship, but this should block it then in my case. If for some reason this destroyer doesn't block it by being in port, it will go out of port, but I don't think pretty much any rules require things to be out of port. Alright, that's the lines. Oh, Lend Lease. Almost forgot about that. That doesn't matter. That gives us these 2. These guys we're going to leave. We'll build them in Kyushu. They will sail down here. Nothing. And then they will go into the port in southern Iran. Because this is a maximum of 5 IPP per unit, not 5 IPP per turn. And then they will travel along the rail into southern Iran. And then from there, they'll take this very hard to see river border, but I checked the terrain guide, it is there, into Syria. And from there, they will continue to their destination, this AA. We'll go all the way to Eastern Germany. I think that's where he wants it. We also want it in, well, he's got 1, 2 here. And Jinx wasn't able to get back. Oh, he's got 4 there, 5. Yeah, we'll put it in. It'll go all the way around through Switzerland, through Austria, into Western Germany. There we go. And the Italian infantry that I dropped somewhere here. I hate when I do this. This one. Pretty sure it's this one. Darn. Darn. Should not have let that go. And I'm sure all of you who can just go rewind the screen are yelling at me for it. I'm pretty sure it's this guy in Syria who is going to go be dropped off in northern Italy. Yeah, we think that's correct. I will look at the video, my recording after this, and then I will determine if that was that, or maybe it was this one. Not sure. Another note, Soviets corrected a militia in Azerbaijan. They can't place a militia in Azerbaijan because they already have one. So that's not going there, and that's going on the list of things to correct in Davik or Jinx's video. Alright, before this is now, let's get this wrapped up. First, I forgot to mark Malaya, didn't I? So excited about having captured, I didn't do anything. So, that is now Japanese. Which puts Japan up to and FEC down to, come on, scroll faster, up to 55. And the FEC goes down to 8. And then we get a bonus for Malaya of +2, which gives us 55 plus 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Which 13 plus 55 gives us 68, I believe, this turn. I'm going to quickly, yeah, I'll do that after the turn when I can screenshot and stuff and make sure it's here. I'm going to screenshot real fast, and we'll check the incomes. Alright. Screenshot is open. Now that 17, 60, 55, 65, 45. Nice. It's always a good feeling when this stays the same. I think the British stay the same too. Yes. Good, it means you know you've tracked it correctly. Alright. So then we have 55 plus 13 gives us 68 for the next turn. In terms of victory objectives, we now have not only access to resources for having all Malaya, and Asia for Asians, which puts the axis up to 9, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent. So, that is 9, and the Allies are still sitting on theirs, and so we still have propaganda war. Okay. Convincing Axis lead, but can we hold it? That's the question. Can we hold it? But I still have key to, I think I still have key time. I need to mark my income, 68, and then I can start waffling about whether or not I still have key to tie. So 68, 5 more than last turn. And the Americans have 1, 2. Okay, yeah. I still have 1. Actually, I don't know if damaged capital ships count. I think that was a change with V4. Yeah, undamaged. Oof, that's gonna hurt. Because I don't have key to retire at the start of next turn. So I'm not gonna get that discount on. Yeah, but I don't want to kill a heavy cruiser instead. So, yeah, because if we look at this, I only have one, because battlecruisers aren't capital ships, they really should be. Only have one undamaged capital ship, and the Americans have two. So actually, currently, the Americans have Big Blue Fleet, which is strange. And I really wish I hadn't pointed that out, because now I'm pretty sure that he will immediately commence building a lot of capital ships with that deep discount. So, yes, I need to fix that because I won't get my 3 IPP carrier next turn. Normally I would have built it this turn, but the US is currently sitting, for all of you that haven't been paying attention, on 60 IPP. So there is a 1/6 chance that they won't be in the war next turn. And Japan is willing to entertain that prospect. Because the sooner we keep them from getting 75, the better. Alright, so that should be everything. I will leave this off with, for Davik, we have these two Soviet things to address that I didn't get to, and we will see how this goes. Japan has conquered Asia. Let's go. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I hope you will take a look at my long overdue strategy video when I finally get it published, hopefully today or tomorrow, to go over how this initial phase of the war has been going for Japan and how we see it going forward. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.